Hello everyone and welcome to the Chrissy B Show, the UK's only TV programme that's dedicated to your mental health and well-being. Today we are looking at the many wonderful ways in which you can raise awareness for mental health. We feature a very special cause, Walking Out of Darkness, a 10-mile walk in London, which was a great opportunity to offer support and unity to individuals and families suffering from mental health difficulties. We'll see how I got on when I took part, as well as hearing from some lovely people on the way. Then I'll be hearing from today's special guest, Kevin J, an ex-army corporal who has overcome some huge obstacles in life, including PTSD, his son's suicide, as well as his own suicide attempt. He'll be telling me all about how counselling saved him and how he wants to promote an open and honest attitude towards mental health and suicide. And of course, this show is also about your well-being and success. So we have founder of Wealth Dragons and business extraordinaire John Lee, who'll be revealing some habits of millionaires. And of course, it's important to look after oneself and take the time to invest in the most important person in your life, which is of course you. So we're going to have on Sanni Sorma, who'll be covering some makeup tips for the more mature ladies. Now, raising awareness is so important because it breaks myths and helps people to understand the real issues at hand. For instance, there is a difference between feeling anxious before an exam or job interview and feeling crippled with anxiety on a daily basis with generalized anxiety disorder. Equally, feeling sad because of your career or personal life doesn't necessarily mean you have depression. We need to raise awareness so that those who are struggling and battling alone know that they have the right support and are free from discrimination and ignorance. That's exactly what Walking Out of Darkness did, and there are so many other worthwhile events and campaigns such as that which are worthy of your attention. Well, we want to hear what some of you are doing to raise awareness, so we took to Twitter to find out. Help Spread This is doing their part to stop child abuse. They say today, hashtag Stop Child Abuse Thursday, 5 children die every day in the US from abuse. Please join us in raising awareness. Tom is doing his part. He says it's Face Equality Day in UK. Congrats to @Face Equality on raising awareness of facial difference. Proud of my face. Glad to hear it. And Katie is raising awareness on sepsis. What Space are also getting involved, saying lots going on across Leicester this week for Dementia Awareness Week 2017. So I'm so happy to see so many people doing their part to speak out on many important issues. Now, without further ado, let's get stuck into the first part of my journey across London for Walking Out of Darkness, which helps to raise awareness regarding suicide. Let's take a look. Hi everyone, we are here today in Battersea Park, ready for Clasp Charity's Walking Out of Darkness event. Now, this event is all to raise awareness about mental health issues and also to help prevent suicide. So we're all going to be doing a 10-mile walk. We have our t-shirts on and we're going to get the conversation going about mental health issues. So we're all ready for it. I'm going to be interviewing some great people as well. So come along with us.
Hello Battersea! How you all doing? Good! Is everyone ready for the walk?
Yeah! I met Johnny, 9 years ago. Unfortunately, he was in a place where he wanted to take his life, and because he was too embarrassed to talk, and thought that he was the only person that was going through what he was going through. But he found the courage to open up to me, a complete stranger, and began an inspirational journey of recovery that's just touched so many people.
We've got another very inspiring speaker. Her name is Chrissy B, and you might have seen her on the Chrissy B Show, amazing show that's all about mental health. So I'm going to hand over to her. Give her a big round of applause.
I went through depression and panic attacks, anxiety for about 7 years. And at the time there wasn't really any support, and a lot of people that go through mental health issues, they really do feel like they're the only people that are going through it. That's how I felt. I felt so lonely. I felt like I couldn't talk to my friends because they would probably not be my friends anymore. And there's just some things that back then I felt like I couldn't say. So now I'm so happy that there are events like this, that we are raising awareness, because we need to get talking more about this. People don't realise sometimes how difficult it is to open up, but if we make it as normal as possible to speak up about these things, we're going to make such progress. And I got help in the end. I went to an amazing charity. I beat the depression. I don't have the issues that I used to have, but because I know what it felt like, and I know what it's like to wake up every day and have this, feel like you've got this heavy load on your shoulders, and you don't know what to do, and you don't know how you're going to face the day. I'm now so passionate about helping other people.
So I'm Riley. I have OCD. I have a form of OCD that's quite common but not really spoken about, called pure O, because it can make you think that you're like a serial killing paedophile. So that's not something you often want to talk about. So OCD is, I describe it as your brain refusing to acknowledge what your eyes can see, be it that the candle's off or the door is closed, or that you haven't just run over someone in the road. And it also involves things called intrusive thoughts.
We found out that 2 in every 3 people tell us that they have had mental illness. This is not a minority interest. This is not even 1 in 4. This is most of us, and it's not us individually. It's someone we love. It's someone that we live with. It's somebody that we work with. It's our kids and our parents.
We're really, really close to you guys walking now. Really, really close. It's nearly there. Next, coming up, is the guys who are going to take you through the warm-up.
So we'll be checking out more of that day a bit later on. But for now, here's Feyi Jegede with another heart-pumping workout. And as you know, we do love to cover fitness on this program because it's not only good for your physical health, but it's also very good for your mental health. Let's take a look.
Hey there guys, and thank you so much for joining me in today's fitness segment. Now on today's show, I'm going to be taking you through a how-to series. And the how-to series is all about doing exercise correctly, the proper techniques and the proper way. This stops you from having injuries, aches and pain. So you're going to need a mat, so get that, pop your trainers on of course, and then join me for this workout. First thing we're going to learn to do today is we're going to learn to do a press up, the correct way to do a press up. And so we're going to start first with something known as a box press up, okay? So if I move my hair out the way, you can see exactly what I need to do. So I'm going to have my legs hip width apart, so the same distance as my hips, okay? And then I'm going to have my mat in front of me, and I'm going to have my hands slightly, only slightly wider than your shoulders. So here's your shoulders, slightly. And from here, you're going to press down towards the mat and look down with your nose touching. So here we go. And push up. Now the whole purpose of a press up is to work your chest and of course your arms, okay? Good, and just give me one more. Excellent. Now when you get that technique right, then you're able to move on. So now we're going to do a full press up, okay? So I'm going to take my hands slightly wider than my mat. So it's going to be slightly wider than my shoulders because I'm going to work the full range of my chest. So right across the chest and right across the arms as my arms push me back up. So here we go. So take it slightly wider, come onto your toes. Yeah, you can have it wider if you want to stabilize your body, or close together in terms of your feet. It's up to you. Here we go. Let's press down and push. And as I push, my chest is working. Oh, your arms are probably going to be aching, but that's because, of course, your arms are working, okay? So don't worry about the shakes, it's normal. One more for luck and build up. Ow, that was hard. Excellent. That was your basic press up. That was your full press up. And then of course, we're gonna do another one. I'm gonna make it really, really hard. And it's known as a Spider-Man press up. So you're gonna be on a full position as such. And then from here, you bring the hand slightly wider back and you're gonna bring your knee towards your elbow, okay? So bring the arm slightly wider and then we'll do a couple of these. You're gonna be a pro at the end of this, so let's go. 1, 2, so your knee kind of taps along to hit your elbow. Excellent. 2 more for luck, and breathe. Excellent, there you have it. Wow. So there you have it, guys. You have just learned how to do a press up properly. We've done a box press up, we've done a full press up, and then we've done a Spider-Man press up. Thank you so much for joining me in today's show and segment, and I'll catch you again in another fitness segment. Take care of yourself. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much to Feyi. Well, after the break, I'll be hearing Kevin J's story of how he dealt with PTSD and suicidal thoughts, and we'll be seeing the second leg of my journey across London with Walking Out of Darkness. But first, what is the most common mental health problem in the UK? Is it A, depression, B, generalized anxiety disorder, or C, phobias? Find out after this break. Let's see if you know the answer. Welcome back to the Chrissy B Show, everyone. Now, before the break, I asked you what the most common mental health problem is in the UK. Is it A, depression, B, generalized anxiety disorder, or C, phobias? The answer is generalized anxiety disorder, which according to Mind is reported to affect 5.9% of the population. Depression affects 3.3%, whilst phobias affect 2.4%. We'll be hearing Kevin's story shortly, but first, let's get back to the Walking Out of Darkness event. I'm here now with the amazing Kenny of Clasp Charity, who put this whole thing together. So Kenny, can you tell us a bit about your background first of all, and why you set up Clasp in the first place?
Well, background, good question. Before setting up the charity Clasp, I'm a former football coach, worked in different roles, one thing or another. And from my aspect in setting up Clasp, it was one of those things whereby, having gone through a mental health experience myself and got to the point that I did attempt suicide, I found that in recovery, counselling and everything else, there wasn't a means to actually get more people engaged and involved in talking about their mental health.
And regarding this walk, why did you think it was so important to put something like this together? Amazing turnout, by the way, as well.
Thank you. The main thing is getting people together. Be it that they're doing a physical activity as going for a walk, or those people that do the marathon and every type of event. People come together when they're doing something, have a form of unity, a form of engagement, and in doing an event like this, you finish the event and you feel that you've accomplished something, but also at the same time you've met new people that you can continue the journey with and find new things you can actually do in everyday life as well.
Okay everyone, so as you can see behind me, this is the group that's finished the walk already. We still have more people coming in and it's been really positive, really great so far.
Lots of people here for different reasons. Some have actually lost people that they know, family members, friends, to suicide. Others know people that are going through mental health issues, and everyone's here to do their part to raise more awareness and get more people talking. So we'll be speaking to a few more people and seeing how they got on with the walk.
And make sure you keep watching for more from Walking Out of Darkness later on in the show. Well, this is a topic my next guest knows only too well, and I'm delighted he's decided to share his story with me today. His name is Kevin J. Hello, Kevin.
Hi, Chrissy. How are you?
Lovely to have you on the programme.
Pleasure to be here. Thank you.
First of all, I think you're very brave for coming on to talk about this, because it's something very, very personal. But the reason why you've decided to actually come on the show today is to help other people who may be going through some similar things that you've been through.
Absolutely. If we can just help one person through, having been through what I've been through, help one person, then I'm just happy to be here. Yeah, absolutely. It's 100%. Okay. I'm happy to be here to do it.
Okay, so tell us a bit about your background. When did you start having some issues with your mental health?
It started actually at I was involved in a car crash. Actually, I was parked and a drunk driver hit me head on. And then after a while I got out of the car and I saw a body which slumped over the wheel, and I thought they were dead. And you know, next thing I knew, an ambulance had come take me to the hospital. 3 days later, I started having these episodes, breaking down, very tearful, a bit confused about things, what had happened.
Yeah.
And so I just started, it started like that at first, and I just thought it was just a little bit of aftershock from the accident.
Yeah.
But it never ceased, it increased in actual fact.
Had you ever spoken to anyone about it? Like, had any counselling at that point, or did you just try to cope on your own?
Just coping on my own at first, because I just thought it was to do, you know, it was very early after the accident. And I didn't feel as though it was anything other than I was just still in a little bit of shock, possibly.
Okay.
But it moved on from there very, very quickly. Then I realised that there was something, and other people around me were realising there was something wrong as well. You know, I couldn't talk to anybody. I was just sat in tears pretty much most of the day, having these episodes. Yeah.
Were you actually reliving the experience, or had you sort of not been thinking about it and it would just be there anyway?
Well, straight away you start in, after a few days you get flashbacks. I could see, I was looking up and I could see the car heading towards me, and I was, gosh, you know. So it was a little bit like that. You were getting flashbacks and you became a little bit sort of hyper-vigilant, really, with the situation.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then how did things develop from there? Because there was another tragic event in your life, wasn't there?
God, yeah, well, I went through about 4 years of counselling. In actual fact, the counselling itself brought me out the other side, because I lost my son to suicide about just under 2 years ago now. Okay. And that was very difficult to cope with. But I do believe if I hadn't gone through the post-traumatic stress disorder and the counselling and learning the mechanisms to cope with these particular events, I wouldn't have been able to cope with it. But because I'd gone through it in a strange way, it helped me get through. So, you know, help is out there and you really need to access it. And because I'm an ex-soldier. I did a special air service course. I was a paratrooper, and I was, in those days, as macho as you could be. And then all of a sudden I'm weak, crying, not knowing how to cope. And this was all, wow, a new experience.
It just goes to show it can happen to anyone, because you can be okay one day and then something happens and all of a sudden you're just leading a completely different life inside, like the way you feel, the way you see the world.
Gosh, it's really hard to cope with it at the beginning. And I lived in my house with bin liners on the window for a year. I put plastic bin liners on so nobody could knock on the door or look in.
Really?
Yeah, and I would only go out late at night to the supermarket to get some things once a week and then come back in. And so it was like that. I couldn't talk to family. I didn't want to correspond with people. But my counsellor, she was fantastic. She was like Miss Marple, she was. So, I mean, she was wonderful, right old lady. She's fantastic. Yeah. And she used to make me get to do 5 points of contact a day, whether it would just be picking up the phone and saying hello to somebody, or if the postman come opening the door and taking the letter off him, anything like that. just to start you on that process.
Okay, so you weren't so isolated anymore.
Absolutely.
But so there was a suicide attempt as well, wasn't there?
Yeah, it was really bizarre because I'd got to a point where I couldn't cope any further, and it was a Saturday morning, and I just sat there and I thought, I was sat in my car and I thought, it's time. I've had enough. I can't cope with this anymore. And I was going to go and commit suicide. It's as simple as that. I had it in my head. I was getting in my car and I was going to go and drive off the cliff where I live. I'd planned it and I was going to do it. And then I got a telephone call, and the guy started talking to me, and he said, "What's wrong with you?" You know, because he knew me, and I said, "Oh, well, I'm not feeling so good." And he spoke to me for about an hour on the phone, and he kept me from, I didn't tell him what I was going to do, but he sensed that there was something wrong and he wouldn't get off the phone. And I'm like, "Look, will you go away? No, I need to talk to you, Kevin." So he saved my life. He saved my life, you know.
I have to say something at this point, because sometimes we underestimate the impact that even just a few kind words can have on someone. And I think that what you're saying is so important. If you do have a friend or family member, or even if it's a complete stranger, that doesn't sound right, you can tell something is wrong, please just take even if it's just a few minutes. I know he spent an hour with you. Even if it's just a few minutes, just to talk, just to say something, just to see what's going on, then please take that time and do that, because you just don't know what that person's going through.
You know,
and like you said, he saved your life.
He did save my life, and sometime after I told him what I was going to do, you know, and he was like, "Oh my God." And now, within what I try to do, on my Facebook and things like that, I always put out messages. If there's anybody out there who wants to talk, there you go. Just get in touch with me, because I'm going to talk to you, because I've been through it, and I'll talk to anybody. But life changes.
Yeah.
And if you see, gosh, my life has changed in such a great way, you know. I took up acting 3 years ago. I could never even get out of my house with the bin liners. Now I'm jumping around on stage. I've done musicals, a bit of TV, and I'm singing for a band. I mean, it's like, you can't imagine getting to that point, having felt so low and so alone. And anybody out there, you know what, you're not alone. There are people out there that can help you. For goodness sake, just cry out to somebody, speak to somebody, because it's there. And I'm living proof that I was that close to just going. And, you know, this was now, I'm having a great life now, you know. And one of the
at
things,
the time you could never imagine having the life that you have now, isn't it? Yeah.
Never imagine it. And what's wonderful about it now is that if there are any problems, I deal with them.
Yeah.
I've become this like 100% truthful person with myself, so it doesn't matter anymore. I just go, "Oh, I'm going to deal with it," because I've learned how to with the mechanisms and you know, I mean, they did try to give me some cognitive behaviour therapy stuff. Didn't work. But Miss Marples, as I call her, she was fantastic. She was just wonderful.
We have to meet this lady.
She was wonderful. Well, even when I couldn't get to her office, when I was having a bad episode, she would come to my home. She would drive. She said, "No," and I built this trust up with her. Yeah. And she was wonderful. So
that's important. Like when you have someone like that in your life as well. That's why, you know, sometimes you do need these kind of people, whether it's a counsellor, a friend, a family member. That's someone that you can really open up to and talk to is very important. So Kevin, life's changed for you, which I'm really, really happy about, and that just goes to show everyone. Sometimes you can be in such a dark place, and you think there's absolutely no way things can change, but there's always hope. There's always change. And if you take your life, you'll never know, will you, that life was there.
You know what? If I'd have done what I was going to do that morning, I wouldn't be sat here. I wouldn't be doing the things I'm doing, and I wouldn't be trying to talk to somebody out there and just say, "Listen, you know, you can get through this, and you can live a full life, feeling good and being happy, because it's not all despair." Even though it seems like that at the time,
it does. Yeah.
There's hope. There's definitely hope.
Definitely. Kevin, thank you so much for sharing your story with us, and all the best for the future.
You're welcome.
And say hi to Miss Marple.
I will. I do. I should talk to her again. Yeah, I will do.
Get her on the show.
She'd be wonderful.
Oh, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
All right, guys, so don't go away because after the break, we have Sanni Sorma who'll be giving her makeup tips for the mature lady, and we'll be moving into the final leg of our journey across London in Walking Out of Darkness. But first, how many people in the UK have suicidal thoughts? Is it A, 10.4%, B, 20.4%, or C, 30.4%? Find out after this break. I'm Chrissy B, and my show is all about improving your mental health and being happy. Join me every Monday, Wednesday and Friday at 10 p.m. on my channel Sky 203. Visit chrissybshow.tv for more information and subscribe to our YouTube channel Chrissy B Show. You can also follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Chrissy B Show and on our Facebook page, The Chrissy B Show. Welcome back to the Chrissy B Show, everyone, where today we are raising awareness for mental health. Now, before the break, I asked you how many people in the UK have suicidal thoughts. Is it A, 10.4%, B, 20.4%, or C, 30.4%? The answer is B, 20.4%. So now I'm delighted to be joined by makeup artist Sanni Sorma for this week's makeup tips, which are going to be focused on you more mature ladies. Hello, Sanni.
Hi, nice to be back.
Nice to have you back, my lovely little ray of sunshine.
Oh, thank you. That's nice. That's the nicest thing anyone has said to me
You weren't
today.
expecting that, were
No,
you?
I was not. Yes, we are going to be talking about more mature ladies and tips on not necessarily like exactly how to do your makeup, but what kind of products to use and how to use them.
Okay.
So it doesn't mean that like you have to change everything around. It's just, you know, just changing a little bit, using a different technique, using different kind of layering.
Okay, cool.
So I think this is one of my most important ones is people often ask me, why would you need a primer? Primer can enhance your glow. So when you get older, your skin kind of loses its youthful glow, you know, that kind of like je ne sais quoi, that thing that skin has. One of my favorite ones is by Lumine. This is from Finland, and I'm from Finland, so this is exciting for me. You can get in England, I think you can buy it in Amazon, and it is a serum primer. So using a glow enhancing primer really kind of starts you off on the right foot, and it's very, very super light, and then you get like a good canvas. One thing I would do as we get older is switching to a lighter foundation. So caking on foundation is not a good idea. Less is more. This is a makeup artist favorite, Max Face and Body. That C7 there is just my little label making.
It's mine.
This is water-based and it is so light. So when it comes out, I took a shade a little bit darker so that it would show up on screen. It is kind of almost like water.
Okay.
It's just really light and it's easy to blend. You don't need like tons of makeup brushes or anything like that. You can just blend it onto your skin, and the combination of the two really gives kind of like that glow back to the skin. Now, it's not tons of coverage, so if you do need a little bit more concealer, just use a cream concealer where you need it, not everywhere. Under the eyes, I would use for pigmentation and things like that, you'd use a cream concealer. For under the eyes, a kind of a lighter, so this one would be a little bit lighter than your skin tone and lighter in texture. So like I think you start getting like expression lines at 25 and then it just gets worse and worse and worse. So we all kind of could do with going a little bit lighter just under the eyes. And a very light texture. This is by Terry, one of my favorite products. Incredibly expensive, but you get a lot for your money.
Yeah, okay.
Like I don't even.
And it's not a small product, is it?
It's not like you get a lot for your
money.
money. So this will, in private use, will probably last you 2 years.
Yeah. Okay.
So one thing that I personally, like I also do it on myself, is switch to a cream blush, especially during winter months. So cream blush is more. This is a specifically bright one. It actually goes really well with your dress.
You're not going to put that on me, are you?
No. Right, I'm not going to put it on you. When you switch to a cream blush, it adds to that glow thing. So when you age, skin gets drier, and you don't necessarily want to accentuate any fine lines. Powders accentuate all of that. If you need to use powder, use a little bit around the nose and a little bit just ever so slightly kind of on the T-zone. But like on the cheeks, you don't really need it. And switching to a cream blush is just lovely, and it adds to the glow factor. It's also moisturizing. This one happens to be by RMS Beauty, and it's an all natural product, and it's actually a moisturizer in itself. And you can use it as a lipstick. So brows tend to get thinner with age. It's like one of those things, there isn't much you can do about it. So grooming your brows, if you don't feel like drawing them in, like there is a big trend for very big brows right now. But for example, this morning I didn't draw them in, I just put this product on. This is Benefit's Gimme Brow, and this is a brow groomer. It has a little bit of color, has the tiniest brush imaginable. Like, I'm not sure you can even see this on camera. But you brush it on the brows, you just kind of like do little tiny, and it kind of draws hairs in between. So you don't have to be great at like drawing the brows in. It just fills it in. It comes in several different colors, so blonde, brunette, redhead. And it's a really, really great product. I love that one. Eyeshadow wise, when you age, you don't necessarily need to go crazy with the eyeshadows. A lot of people start getting slightly droopy eyes, so your brow gets heavier, so you're not going to see that much of it anyways. Like if you do amazing shadow work but then nobody can see it, what's the point? I would probably, hold on, this is a bit stuck, just stick to a more neutral one. So if you are kind of fair-skinned, a mauvey neutral is a beautiful, beautiful color. It gives a little bit of definition. Don't go to, like, this is completely matte. You can add a little bit of shimmer, but don't do any kind of sparkle. So this is by Urban Decay, and it's called Laced. And choose the color with your skin tone. So if you're a little bit darker, go a little bit warmer, a little bit darker. But the tone should be a little bit darker than your own skin tone, but not much. Also, not too much lighter either. I feel like my hands are now completely. You
can use mine if you want.
Actually, maybe I'll use yours. My next tip is skip the eyeliner. So eyeliner can actually be quite difficult to put on if you're starting to get wrinkles on your eyelids. Much easier thing to do is to pick an eyeshadow, just like a darker eyeshadow if you like dark blue gray, dark gray. This is a dark brown one. And use an angled brush. I am going to use your hand right now. And just press it onto the roots of the lashes. So if you are just literally pressing it on like that, you get a soft line. It stays put better because it's a powder, and you don't have to be that specific. So if you can't do a winged eyeliner, if you can't do any of that, it doesn't matter because you can always kind of blend it out a little bit. And I love it because it makes your lashes look longer as well, because lashes do suffer. Speaking of lashes, smudge-proof your mascara. So as you age, if you get puffy eyes, lines, and often, I don't know why this is, I should have been prepared. Especially lower lashes really start kind of almost sticking to, like when I do makeup on more mature ladies, and when I say more mature especially in the lash thing, I would say 60s, 70s, the lashes almost start sticking under, and maybe they start growing closer to your skin. Smudge proofing, which means waterproofing or temperature proofing your mascara, is very important. Last but not least, bright lipstick. So don't go too dark, don't go too light. So this is actually the shade that you happen to be wearing right now. This is by Too Faced. I think it's called Coral Fire. Something that adds a little bit of brightness to the face, because, well, kind of all colors tend to go. But don't go too dark, don't go burgundy, and also don't go too light, because that just tends to wash you out even more. So those are my mature lady tips.
Thank you so much, Sanni.
You are very welcome.
And if you'd like to know more about this wonderful lady, please do head over to our website, chrissybshow.tv, and there's a link there to all of Sanni's information. And see you again soon. Well, now let's catch up with the Walking Out of Darkness team as we continue on our hike across London.
All right, everybody, so we're here with some remarkable people. You've seen them very recently on Mind Over Marathon, so now they're going to be telling me why they've done this walk today. Who wants to go first?
I'll go first then. I've got the mic in my face. No, I mean, like this, you know, since the documentary went out and we've had so many amazing messages like sent through to us about, you know, and it really has touched us about how people have been really inspired by the programme. They've gone out running for the first time since they've been hit with depression, all these kind of things. And this is the first opportunity we've actually had to get together as a group since the marathon. And it just felt like the right thing. We needed to do something like this, you know, kind of like carry the message on post-documentary away from the cameras and just keep the ball rolling, really. But yeah, it's been a great day, although we did cheat for the last 3 miles. But
we won't mention that. Forget the bikes. How was it for you?
Yeah, fantastic. I think it's a really nice, inclusive event. There's kids here that you don't have to be a runner to do it. You can walk. Yeah, it's just been fantastic. Or cycle. Yeah, it's been fab, and everyone's here for the same reason, which I think is really important. So yeah, we've all massively enjoyed it.
And how was it doing the documentary for you?
Oh, you know, for me it definitely saved my life. It came at the right time. Yeah, to meet such an inspiring and fantastic group of runners and people, it was brilliant. We've just so closely bonded straight away, and we're just so, you know, just good mates now as well. And to do something like this as a group is just brilliant.
So what was it like for you doing the walk today?
Yeah, it was great. It was. I'm sure they've already said it was the first time a few of us got back together, getting the band back together. Yeah, it's always good, isn't it? And yeah, to do it for such a great cause, and you know, Kenny's organised an amazing thing in Clasp, and yeah, it's been a great day. It's been brilliant.
And how was it doing the documentary for you? Was it quite emotional, would you say? And
yeah. I think so. I mean, it's very cathartic for all of us. I think we all went through this really similar, unique process together, and through doing it, it should have triggered us along the way, you know. But somehow, I mean, I can't speak for everybody, obviously, but for me personally, it forced me to work through a lot of my own stuff, because what they did when they interviewed us was they didn't, you know, not aggressively, they just kind of asked for a little bit more and just like, okay, so how do you explain that? And I think when you have depression or anxiety and you know the demons sort of get in, you do your best to shut it off straight away, don't you? And because I was talking so frequently and openly about it, I could then reflect. Yeah, exactly. And I could reflect later on, and it helped me a lot. It really did. Yeah.
So everybody, this is Harry, and he's here for a specific reason. Actually, he's here with some friends and family as well. Can you tell us why you actually decided to do this walk today?
Yes, this walk was in the memory of our cousin Sadil, who unfortunately committed suicide. It's not something that I'd want to speak in front of the camera, but just to raise awareness of you know, what was experienced by the young lad, and in his memory. We've decided to have this walk today.
And this must be very hard for you, obviously, because this only happened very recently. It's been less than a month, but you still managed to muster up the strength to come here.
You know, at the end of the day, it's not about how we feel. It's about more to do with the thoughts and then the memories that we have, or the good memories we have of our cousin. And it's because of that we've decided to take a walk. You know, what we feel and how we feel is always going to be secondary. Regardless of how we felt, we felt that we needed to come and do this.
Okay, everyone, so now I'm here with the lovely gang from the Battersea Fire Station.
Yay!
And as you can see, they are a very energetic bunch. They've just finished their 10-mile walk. How was it for you guys?
Fantastic. Brilliant, yeah. Really
fantastic, it was brilliant.
Fantastic.
Amazing.
Okay, so I wonder, can you tell me why you decided to do this today?
What are we doing?
We did this because, you know, mental health is something that affects 2 in 3 people, you know. In our industry, in the fire service, you know, we get loads of firefighters suffering from depression, so it's a subject that's very close to our hearts. So coming out here and supporting the cause was a massive thing for us today, and so that's why we're here, that's why we're full of energy, and that's why we're ready to go. Boom! Yeah.
Can you do another 10 miles?
Yeah. I'll do another 10 miles, yeah.
Okay, so you've just joined the team, haven't you?
Yes.
What's it been like?
Today is my first day with these guys, so thank you very much, boys. I'm very happy to be with them. So yeah,
So what do you think about this whole walk and the experience that you've had today?
I think it's brilliant. And I think going back to what the organisers said at the beginning about removing the shame of having anything to do with mental illness, because you know, if you had asthma, you'd have something to treat that. If something to do with the brain, you need to have something to treat that as well. So I think that's really good and brave of all these people to come out today and help support one another.
Okay, thank you so much, guys. Great speaking to you. Woo! Thank you. Right, guys, so we've had an amazing time here with Clasp at the Walking Out of Darkness event. It's just been so nice to see everyone here together. Everybody here for the same reason, obviously to raise awareness about mental health issues. And I think, you know, it's really hit the target today. I mean, so many people have been talking about mental health, sharing their experiences. It's been such a nice, lovely, safe environment for people to talk as well. So been absolutely amazing, and I'm sure this event's going to get bigger and better every year. After the break, founder of Wealth Dragons, John Lee, will be telling me all about his journey to wealth, as well as giving me his habits of a millionaire. But first, how many people in the past week experienced a common mental health problem? Is it A, 1 in 4, B, 1 in 6, or C, 1 in 8? Tune in after the break to find out. Welcome back to the Chrissy B Show, everyone. Well, before the break, I asked you how many people in the past week experienced a common mental health problem. Is it 1 in 4, 1 in 6, or 1 in 8? The Mental Health Foundation say it's B, 1 in 6 of us, which pretty much guarantees that somebody we see on a regular basis is struggling. Well, now we have a very special guest with us, John Lee, who's the founder of Wealth Dragons, the world's leading promoter of events and training programs, who's going to lead us through some of the habits of millionaires. Hello, John.
Hey, Chrissy, thank you for having me on the show.
It's lovely to have you here. So, John, before you go into your habits, which I'm sure the viewers are dying to know about, because obviously you made it big in life.
Yeah.
So, tell us a bit about your background and how you became successful.
I started working in the Chinese takeaway as a dishwasher in my mum's Chinese takeaway.
Okay.
I went to school, got a job. And I don't know if you've ever been there, but when you get to a certain level in your job and you kind of go, well, is that it? So I was looking for something different. I mean, I loved what I did, but I didn't love doing it and commuting to work, you know, every single day, getting up at 6 o'clock in the morning and just really just getting by in life. So I decided to self-educate myself. You know, I read a few books, went to a few seminars, and the easiest thing that I started to do was to invest in property, because one thing I looked at is what do people do that are making them successful, and the easiest thing was property. You buy a house, you leave it, it goes up in value. So I bought my first house, I bought it for 85,000 and I sold it for 185,000. I thought,
oh wow, there you go.
That was easy. I thought they'd just do it again. I just kept repeating it again and again and again and again, and then I started, you know, writing books on this and then running events and then on social media, and more people started to learn about it, and that's how it really just exploded.
Okay, and you made your first million at what age?
27.
27, that's amazing. Achievement.
Yes.
So you always had that drive, didn't you? Like to sort of do something with your life and not just sort of do the norm.
Well, I was, you know, my friends, I always used to complain about my job. And my friends always used to say to me, my friend got so angry and said, John, if you complain so much about your job, why don't you do something about it? And at that point I thought,
why not?
Why not? Right? You got a point. So that's when I decided to really focus on because there's two types of education, Chrissy. There's formal education, which will make you a living, and there's self-education, which will make you a fortune. But you know, these traits of entrepreneur and business, they don't teach that at school. They teach you French, English, Spanish, maths, geography, but they don't teach you entrepreneurship, like the real skills it takes to start your own business.
Which is what you do now, you're helping others to do, isn't it? So,
absolutely.
Which is amazing. So now let's cover some of the habits of millionaires. Since you are one, you can tell us about it, so tell us.
Well, a lot of my friends who I hang around, and I guess looking back now, these are some of the traits that I did. Well, one is definitely get yourself educated. You've got to go out there, because if you don't know how to do something, then you've got to learn how to do it. You know, a lot of the times when we go to university and school, we kind of spoon-fed. But we have to go out and actually find out what to do. So just get yourself educated, read books, go to as many seminars, conferences, events, and you'll start to absorb that information. Another thing you can do is, I always find like exercising. So I used to be extremely...
We do talk about this on the show, guys. You know this, very important.
Because businesses, you know, there's no such thing as a get rich quick. You have to work hard, and I believe that entrepreneurship and business and that mental state requires a certain level of thinking to get there. And exercise really helps with that.
What do you do for exercise normally?
Weights. I do cardio. Get yourself a personal trainer as well. If you know, because you got to put some skin in the game. Right. When I don't want to get up, my PT's like, "Hey, where are you, John? You get down here." So it's accountability. So that's another thing I find a lot of millionaires do. Also, I find that a lot of them get up early. You know, I go to bed mostly at around 12, 1 o'clock, get up at 5, 6 o'clock in the morning.
How do you keep going just so little sleep?
It's passion. It's like when you know, if you have to wake up for a job, you're like, oh, you know, you look at your phone, you're like, snooze, snooze, snooze. But when you're truly passionate about something, you want to get up and do it. You know, I wish there was a pill that you could take where you don't have to sleep. You know, I wish like humans didn't have to sleep so you can carry on doing what you want to do all the time. So I find that they get up early and they don't waste time. And another big reason for this as well is that you get to not get disturbed. Like from 5 till 6, no one calls you, no one WhatsApps you, no one's Facebooking you. It's just you, it's your own time. So I find that a lot of millionaires, they spend a lot of like early mornings to get stuff done. Right? I also find that they also do a lot of planning. Right? If you don't set it, it's never going to get done. You got to set that plan. You got to dream it and then set it. And the problem is, if I say, "Hey, let's go for coffee," right, and we don't set a date, it never happens, right? But if I say, "Hey, let's go for coffee on this date," then it's going to happen because you've scheduled it in. So I find a lot of millionaires, they tend to put stuff in, and when I look at my calendar or my friend's calendar, it's just every slot is full. They utilize their time. And that brings me to the next point. Another really good tip is just learning to say no to things. I think sometimes we always want to say yes, let's go for a meeting, let's do this, do that. But, you know, I learned this from Warren Buffett, who's one of the richest men in the world. And it's like learning to say no to opportunities, even though there can be big opportunities, that you got to just say no, protect your time, and then you can get the things done, you can focus.
But with that one, John, though, sometimes you might think, oh, but what if this is something that's going to be really big for me in the future, and that it's like you're turning it down, and then you're kind of like, should I not? It's quite a difficult decision to make sometimes, isn't it? Yes,
here's my reply to that. You know, if something's meant to happen, it'll happen. If something like, you know, my parents always told me, you know, John, you talk too much. You know, when I was a kid, you talk too much. And then now my living is speaking around the world, speaking in front of thousands of people. And so that if something's meant to happen, it'll happen. And you'll always get signs that come back in. You know, it's the same with relationships. You know, there's someone that you're meant to be with, but you want to stay away from that person, but somehow you keep meeting this person, and if it's meant to happen, it'll happen. So I believe that you put great energy out there, you give great value, you help as many people as you can, and then great things will come to your life. That's what I believe. All right. And I suppose you're quite at peace when you think of things that way. Yeah, and it's also living this world of abundance. You want to live with not scarcity, like, oh, there's not enough. You want to live that, hey, there's plenty for everybody. And I think when you come from that level of thinking, that's when great things happen. Okay. Do you have more tips for us? We've got a bit of time for a few more, John. Yeah, okay. Another one is definitely get a mentor and a coach. Now, these are two different things. A mentor is someone who gives you the strategy, and a coach is someone who holds you accountable to that. Right? So, you know, and people always say, well, you know, coaches are expensive and mentors are expensive, but look, ignorance is even more expensive. You know, when I was going when I was going through my journey of entrepreneurship, at one point I almost lost everything, and if you read the book, you'll find out where that point was. But at that point I decided, do I carry on moving forward, or do I just stay where I am? You know, and for me, it's always about being the better version of you. Being the best that you can be, despite all your failures. You keep pushing forward. I don't believe this thing is failure. I believe that there's feedback, and you carry on moving forward and learning from what you failed on, so to speak. Okay. John, tell us a bit about your book as well. I have a book called The Wealth Dragon Way, and you know, it's about two types of wealth. You see, a lot of people have a lot of negativity around money. That's why they don't make any. You see, so that's the first thing you got to change if you want to become a millionaire. Yeah. You've got to change the level of thinking. So there's two types of wealth. The first type of wealth is what we call monetary wealth. That's how much money you have, and the more money you have, the more money you can give. And the second is moral wealth. If you have the ability and the skills to, and you can, you're ably bodied, then you should go out there and make more, because people say that money changes people. I don't believe that. And I think that money, and I believe that money actually shows that character of who they are. So if you're not a nice person, it'll show more of that. Yeah. It accentuates that person.
That's true.
So the reason why I wrote the book is because I want to teach people the fundamentals and what it takes. It's not just about what you need to learn, it's the person you have to become to be able to get those results.
Okay. Yeah. So John, I also noticed, because I'm following you on Instagram and stuff, and I noticed that a lot of your posts it's all about helping people in some way, which I think is really nice. And I think that's very important in business as well, to actually care for others, even though you might not ever get anything back from them, but just putting that out there is something really good for you, isn't it?
Well, I think one of the, the way we transact business in today's environment is very different to how it was 5-10 years ago. 5-10 years ago, here's my product, buy it right now, yes or no, because there's no competition. Now, entrepreneurship, especially with the millennials, are now becoming more and more entrepreneurial. So because there's so much competition now, you have to stand out from the noise. So how do you do that? I believe in one thing. I believe that if you help more people make money, you make money at the same time. Right? If you help other people get what they want, you will get what you want. And that's why, my YouTube channel, my Facebook, my Twitter has got so many followers, because I put so much great content out there that they share it and they spread it.
I do love your videos. I really enjoy them.
Thank you. So I think you're absolutely right there. Value, right, is what penetrates and is what will make you successful. And don't expect anything in return. You just put it out there, right? But then people always come back and go, oh wow, I watched a video and that really changed my life. Or I did one thing that you did and this happened in my life. And it's just, I had a banker, ex-banker, got made redundant. Now she's selling dolls, because that's a passion. That's a passion, So it's just amazing to put content out there and have people learn it and be able to change their life.
I also notice, even though you're very busy and you've got this very hectic lifestyle, but you make time for family, don't you?
Yes.
And you love posting about them, your beautiful mom and your beautiful wife and everything.
Well, one of the reasons why, for me, coming from a Chinese background, the parents never say they love you or I'm
really?
proud.
I didn't know.
Yeah, no, they don't.
I didn't know that.
Chinese people, we're emotionally constipated. Yeah, like if you do something wrong, they hit you. If you do something right, they give you a nod like. So for me, I wanted to make my family proud, because my parents worked in a Chinese takeaways. They had to slave the way at the wok just so I could go to university, get a degree, and then work for somebody else. So now every year I make the point of we travel around the world together. We just got back from Canada and Vegas, and
it's lovely.
It's just amazing having that family time. And just to come back to one of the other tips as well, is that you can't do, if you start a business, you want to become wealthy. True wealth is not how much money you have in the bank account. True wealth is the difference in which you make to people's lives and the impact and the number of people. Because if you focus on money, money's not going to come. Trust me on that. When you focus on adding value, and just like you mentioned about helping people, that's when the money comes.
Okay. Brilliant tips. Thank you so much, John. It's such a pleasure to have you in the studio with us today.
It's absolutely
and
pleasure.
all the best for the future. I know you're going to do well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Right, guys, so we have reached the end of today's program, but if you have any comments for us, if there's maybe a topic that you would like to see us covering, or maybe you would like to share something that you've learned about the show, or just comments in general, please do get in touch with us. Our email address is info@chrissybshow.tv. You can also tweet us at Chrissy B Show, or leave a message on our Facebook page, The Chrissy B Show. Bye-bye for now. That's exactly what Walking Out of Darkness did, and there are so many other worthwhile events and campaigns such as Oh, that was going so well! Hang on, can I just read the last bit? Such as that which are worthy. Oh my goodness! John Lee will be telling me all about his journey to wealth, as well as giving me